All right, today we're jumping into something really important, a new blueprint for how to make AI fundamentally more secure. They're calling it the AI Trust Fabric, and it's basically a system designed to build a verifiable security shield around the AI tools that, let's be honest, we're starting to use for everything.
I mean, think about it. We're asking AI to help us with massive things, from discovering new medicines to planning our cities. But the more powerful these systems get, the more we have to ask, can we actually trust them? How can we be sure that the information they're using and the answers they're giving us haven't been secretly messed with? Well, to get to the bottom of that, we've got to look at the problem first. Because right now, the way most AI systems are designed leaves them wide open to some pretty serious and often totally hidden vulnerabilities.
Here's the bottom line. Large language models can be tricked. It's that simple. They're vulnerable to bad actors who slip malicious instructions into their prompts, or who feed them data that's been forged or tampered with. This is the core weakness we absolutely have to solve.
And some of these attacks are just, wow, they're deviously clever. You've got prompt injection, which is kind of like telling a genie to ignore its master's rules. Then there's tainted data. That's like poisoning the well of information the AI drinks from. And that last one, multi-turn traps, is even sneakier. It's about slowly, over a normal-seeming conversation, luring the AI into a state where it can be exploited. So, what do you do about all this? How do you defend against threats you might not even be able to see? Well, you don't just patch the holes, you build a whole new foundation. And that brings us to the solution this research proposes, the AI Trust Fabric. It's a system that's designed to create provable integrity right from the very start. In the simplest terms, you can think of the Trust Fabric as the ultimate, super-powered court reporter for the entire AI system. Its job is to create this unbreakable, tamper-proof log that proves, with certainty, who said what, when they said it, and what rules were in place at that exact second. You're not just hoping the data is real, you have mathematical proof.
And here's where it gets really cool. This isn't just one single piece of software. The whole thing is designed to work like a digital security team. It's made up of 4 specialized guardians, and each one has a very specific, very critical job to do. So, let's meet the team. First up on the team is Guardian 1, and its job is basically to be the notary. Its entire purpose in life is to create a perfect, unforgeable chain of evidence for every single bit of data that moves through the system. How does it do that? Well, it acts as what's called a hardware root of trust. It uses a special, secure chip to put a unique digital seal on every packet of information. And this is the key part. This isn't just software you can hack. This security is literally burned into the silicon, which makes it incredibly tough to break. Okay, let's walk through how this works. It's actually pretty straightforward. First, for any piece of data, it creates a hash, which is like a unique digital fingerprint. Second, it cryptographically links that fingerprint to the one that came right before it, creating an unbreakable chain. And finally, it uses that secure hardware key to sign the whole entry. The second anyone messes with the data, or even just changes the order, bam, the chain breaks and the forgery is obvious to everyone. And get this, all of that, the hashing, the chaining, the signing with a hardware key, it all happens in under 10 milliseconds. That's literally faster than you can blink. So you get this ironclad, rock-solid security, but you won't even notice it's there. There's no lag. All right, so we've got our notary locking everything down with an evidence trail. Now let's meet the next member of the crew, Guardian 2, the bouncer. And yeah, its job is exactly what it sounds like, to stand at the door and check everything that's trying to get in or out. Now, this isn't your average firewall that just looks at network traffic. No. This is a specialized LLM firewall. It's actually reading the content of the prompts coming in and the AI's answers going out, all in real time. It's looking for any of that funny business we talked about, like prompt injections, and it can block, rewrite, or just flag anything that looks sketchy. So how good is it really? Well, the performance targets here are pretty ambitious. The goal is to stop over 99% of all malicious attacks, while at the same time making sure that it doesn't accidentally block good, legitimate requests more than 5% of the time. It's like having a bouncer who's an absolute genius at spotting trouble, but almost never turns away an actual guest. Okay, so we have a notary making a perfect record and a bouncer watching the door. The third guardian is different. This one's proactive. Meet Guardian 3, the stress tester. You can think of this one as the system's own personal in-house hacker. In the security world, this is what they call a red team. Guardian 3 is basically an automated red team that is constantly, 24/7, running the latest, most sophisticated attacks against its own system. The whole point is to find the weak spots first, so they can be fixed before the bad guys out there even know they exist. It's security that truly never sleeps. And that brings us to the final member of our team. This one is optional, a real specialist that you call in when the data is incredibly sensitive. Meet Guardian Zero, the privacy guard. So what makes this one so special? It's all about privacy. It uses an amazing cryptographic method called zero-knowledge proofs. This allows the system to prove to an auditor that yes, the bouncer blocked a malicious request, but it can do that without ever revealing the sensitive private data in that request. The best analogy is proving your key fits a lock without ever showing anyone the key itself. It's how you can guarantee security for things like medical records or financial data while keeping it 100% confidential. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. A digital security team of 4 guardians sounds fantastic on paper, but the real question is, does it actually work? Well, the researchers have laid out a really rigorous plan to prove it does, and to move this whole thing from theory into the real world. Yeah, this is not just a thought experiment. There is a serious, multi-phase plan to test and validate every single part of this. It starts in the lab with a proof of concept, then it moves into the field with live sensors, and finally it culminates in verifying the history of complex documents. Each step is designed to prove the system holds up under real-world pressure. And really, it all comes back to this one core idea. This quote from the paper just nails the power of that first guardian, the notary. Because of that hardware key, if anyone changes anything, a single packet, a single revision, it doesn't matter how small, it creates a verifiable mismatch. The math just doesn't add up anymore. It's not a guess, it's not an opinion, it's a mathematical certainty. So let's zoom out for a second and bring it all together. What does a system like this really mean for the future of AI? Why is building this fabric of trust so incredibly important? It means we could finally have a real foundation for trust. It means we get hardware-backed proof of where our data actually came from. We get a system that actively filters out attacks as they happen. We get defenses that are constantly testing themselves to get stronger. And crucially, we get all of this without making everything painfully slow or expensive. It turns trustworthy AI from a vague wish into a concrete, measurable engineering goal. And that leaves us with one last big thought. If AI really is going to be the engine that powers our future, then the integrity of that engine is everything, right? What this work shows is that trust doesn't have to be some priceless, abstract hope. It can be a deliberate act of engineering. You can build it. Thanks for tuning in.